guys, Paul here again, and this month's Gold Award will be going to Peavey's brand new Windsor head and 412 cabinet. Now, this is Peavey's latest offering of a British style type of amp, and it's extremely affordable, so let's take a closer look at it. The Peavey Windsor is a very simple rock and roll machine based on some very popular vintage amps from the 60s and 70s, with a few updated tweaks on the front panel. Let's take a closer look. Over here we have your basic inputs of high gain and low gain. You have your main preamp volume, your 3-band EQ. We also have a boost switch, which is foot switchable, which basically adds a little bit of boost on top of it and some extra gain for wherever you set the preamp volume. A very smart send and return effects loop on the front, so you don't have to go all the way in the back to patch it in. Your master volume, a master resonance control, and a master presence control, which allows you loose and actually the resonance gives you a lot of bottom end, or you can take away a bit of the bottom end. And last but not least, we have Peavey's patented texture control, which allows you to have AB operation or Class A operation, basically allowing you to adjust how tight or loose you want your guitar to sound. So you can get really an aggressive sound or more of a vintage, loose, spongy sound out of this amp. This amp sounds really great the minute you plug it in, and the sign of a really good amp is by just setting the controls at 12 o'clock, which I have here, I mean, of course, with the exception of the master volume, and it just sounds great right here in the middle. So let's hear what that sounds like. So what you just heard is the amp with all the controls set to about 12 o'clock. And now let's get a really good guitar sound by moving some of the EQ a bit and turning up the preamp volume. So let's hear what that sounds like. Sticking with the same sound, let me show you how the boost function works. What I did is I backed off the preamp volume to about 12, and then what I'll do is I'll push in the boost so you can hear the amount of level and amount of gain that comes in when you kick that in. Here we go. Now the resonance control is very subtle. It adds a little bit more bass frequencies or cuts out of the bass frequencies. It's best for me to move the knob so you can hear it. So right now I have it in the middle. I'll pull it all the way up to the number 12 and all the way down to 0 so you can hear how subtle it is. All right, now let's talk about the texture control. What I'm going to do is I have it on Class A operation, which is all the way to the left, and then I'll push it all the way up to Class AB operation, which gives it more of a tighter feel. So right now I got a bit of a spongy, loose feel. So let's hear what that sounds like. And now let's move it all the way up to Class AB, where you'll get to hear a real tight feel to this. Here we go. Clean tones are a little hard to come by on this amp. You're mostly going to have to roll off the volume on your guitar. As you can see, I rolled the preamp volume all the way down to 2, and I have the master pretty low, and it still has a little bit of grit. Take a listen. So to get a clean tone, you really, like I said before, you're going to have to lower your volume or plug into the low gain output. And that's how you get a clean sound on this. So as I said before, this is a rock and roll machine, and the best thing about this amp is just to turn it up and use the distortion from this amp. I personally like the texture control somewhere in the middle over here. And let's hear what this amp can do with the preamp volume turned all the way up. The Peavey Windsor is an attractive amp with boutique looks and strong British tones thanks to its EL34 tubes and 4 specially designed Peavey UK speakers. Not to mention this whole combination that you see here can be had for under $600. Now, if I only had this as a teenager.